I found out I had a granddaughter because of a stranger standing next to frozen waffles. Not my daughter, not my son, not anyone in my family, a stranger. It happened at 9:17 on a Tuesday morning inside a Mayor on Alpine Avenue in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was holding Folgers coffee sandwich bread and joint pain medicine when a woman looked at my reward screen and smiled. Wait, Patterson. You're Grace Patterson's grandfather, right? Funny thing about betrayal. It doesn't always crash into your life like thunder. Sometimes it walks toward you wearing a gray sweatshirt and carrying orange juice. And 30 seconds later, my entire family changed. Before we get into this, tell me where you're watching from and what your local time is right now. I always like seeing how far these stories travel. And if you enjoy real family stories with truth, heartbreak, and the kind of lessons life teaches the hard way, subscribe and come sit with us a while. My name is Irvin Patterson. I'm 67 years old, widowed, retired, and according to my daughter Olivia, too stubborn to buy a newer truck. She's not entirely wrong. I drove a 2009 silver blue Ford Ranger with a driver's side door that made a clicking noise every winter and a coffee stain near the center console that had survived 3 presidential administrations and at least 2 failed cleaning attempts. I lived alone in Heritage Hill, Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the same brick house my wife Evelyn and I bought back in 1989 when interest rates were ugly and optimism was free. You know that kind of house. Wood floors that complain every time you walk too hard, kitchen cabinets older than some marriages, a backyard maple tree you keep meaning to trim but never do. Life gets quieter after loss. People tell you that. What they don't tell you is that quiet changes shape over time. At first, quiet feels cruel. Then it becomes routine. Eventually, if you're lucky, it becomes company. Evelyn passed away 8 years before all this happened. Pancreatic cancer. Fast, mean, efficient. She was 59. I still talk to her sometimes. Not in a dramatic movie kind of way. More like standing in the cereal aisle wondering if buying the expensive granola counted as irresponsible spending. Evelyn would have said no. Little things, ordinary things, the things grief leaves behind. We had 2 kids. Olivia Patterson, 38, my oldest, sharp mind, strong opinions, could argue both sides of a political issue by age 12 and somehow still convince everyone she was right. Then Mason, 34, my son, steadier, less complicated, worked as a project manager for a construction company outside Lansing, married, no kids, called every Sunday around 6:30 like clockwork. Olivia lived 20 minutes away. East Grand Rapids, nice neighborhood, white shutters, landscaping that looked professionally judged. She worked in marketing, made more money than I ever did, drove a dark gray Acura MDX, always busy, always moving, always answering texts while talking to you. We used to be close, real close. After Evelyn died, Olivia came over every Tuesday night. She'd bring takeout, usually Thai food, sometimes pizza, one time sushi. I was 72% sure she ordered sushi just to watch me struggle with chopsticks. You're holding it wrong, Dad. I've been holding forks correctly for 60 years. That's enough. She'd laugh. I'd complain. Life moved forward. Then somewhere along the line, things shifted. Not all at once. Life rarely works that way. Changes sneak in, quietly, like a leak under the sink. By the time you notice it, damage already exists. The Tuesday dinners became every other Tuesday. Then monthly, then holidays, then sorry works crazy. And here's something I need you to understand. Kids grow up. They build lives. That's normal, healthy even. I never expected daily calls, never expected weekly visits. I wasn't one of those parents who weaponized guilt. No dramatic speeches, no after everything I've done for you. I hate that stuff. Love given with conditions isn't love, it's accounting. And I spent 31 years in insurance fraud investigations. Trust me, I know accounting. That surprises people. My old career, because I don't look like what people expect. I wasn't some television detective, no trench coat, no dramatic interrogation room, no kicking down doors, medical insurance fraud investigation, hospitals, claims, paper trails, dates, signatures, patterns. You'd be amazed what people miss. Human beings lie with words. Paperwork tells the truth. I'd spent decades learning how to spot inconsistencies. A treatment date that didn't fit, an address mismatch, a timeline problem. Most fraud isn't uncovered because criminals are smart. It's uncovered because eventually greed gets impatient. Stay with me here. That matters later. A lot. Most mornings I followed the same routine. Wake up, coffee, local news, complain at television, ignore weather warning, regret ignoring weather warning. Around 8:30, I'd drive over to DeLuca's Diner near Leonard Street. My friend Eddie Ramirez usually sat in the same booth. Eddie was 69, former garage owner, Vietnam veteran, bad knees, sharp mouth, loyal to the bone. The kind of friend who'd help move furniture and insult your technique the entire time. "You still buying discount coffee?" he'd ask. "It's called financial responsibility. It's called punishment. Not everybody needs $7 coffee. Not everybody trusts powdered creamer from a bucket," we'd argue. Waitresses ignored us. Life continued. One Thursday morning around 6 months before the supermarket moment, Eddie looked at me over scrambled eggs. "Something bothering you?" "No." "You're stirring coffee you already drank." I looked down. Empty cup. "You ever think kids see parents differently when they get older?" I asked. "Depends." "On what?" "Whether they need money." That's Eddie, subtle as a chainsaw. At the time I laughed mostly, because around then Olivia had started asking questions, little questions, harmless questions, or so I thought. "Dad, have you updated your will? Dad, have you thought about downsizing? Dad, this house is a lot for one person. Dad, Heritage Hill property values are insane right now. Dad, assisted living communities aren't what they used to be." That last one caught my attention. Not because assisted living is bad. It isn't. My friend Walter moved into one. Loves it. Plays cards? Complains professionally? Thriving? No. What bothered me was timing. Olivia asked 3 property questions in 10 days. Maybe coincidence, maybe not. Then one Saturday she came over wearing a cream-colored sweater and carrying expensive bakery muffins. The dangerous muffins. The "I need something" muffins. Parents know. You know that look. She walked through the kitchen, looked around, opened cabinets. Still haven't replaced these. They hold plates. Their job performance remains strong. "Dad, what? You ever think about simplifying life?" There it is. What? The setup. No setup. Olivia? No setup. Bakery muffins and concern? That's a setup. She laughed, but not fully. Something sat underneath it. Pressure, restlessness, like someone mentally checking boxes. Then she asked casually, "So, what happens with Mom's trust eventually?" There it was. Pay attention to this next part, because I almost missed it. Almost. And almost mattered more than I realized. Because at the time I thought my daughter worried about me. I thought she wanted stability. I thought she wanted security. I was wrong. Very wrong. People think suspicion arrives dramatically, like a lightning strike, like music changing in a movie. It doesn't. Real suspicion shows up quietly. It sits down beside you, orders coffee, waits. 3 weeks after Olivia asked about Evelyn's trust, she showed up at my house on a Wednesday evening around 6:15, carrying grocery bags. "Thought I'd help stock your fridge," she said. "That's either kindness or a warning sign." "Dad." "What?" "You raised me. I know manipulation techniques. I taught you manipulation techniques." "No, Mom taught me those." That hit harder than she knew, because Evelyn would have laughed loud, unapologetically. The kind of laugh that made strangers smile. Olivia unloaded groceries while I stood near the kitchen island, pretending not to notice she kept looking around. Not looking. Evaluating. That's different. There's a difference between visiting a place and mentally measuring it. Stay with me here. That matters. Your freezer smells weird, she said. It's frozen food. That's literally freezer culture. When's the last time you cleaned it? When's the last time you minded your business? She rolled her eyes. Some things survive adulthood. Then I noticed it. Small thing. Tiny thing. The kind of thing most people miss. She opened the hallway closet, looked inside, closed it. 20 minutes later, she asked, "You still keep important paperwork in there?" Casual voice. Too casual. My old career taught me something valuable. When people try too hard to sound normal, normal disappears. I keep paperwork where paperwork belongs, I said, just asking. Why? No reason. Lie. Tiny lie, but still a lie. I didn't push. Never push too early. That's another thing investigations taught me. Silence creates opportunity. People fill silence. Truth leaks into empty spaces. She moved into the living room, picked up a framed photo. Me, Evelyn, Mackinac Island, summer of 2008. Before hospitals, before funerals, before words like hospice entered ordinary conversation. "You should update pictures," Olivia said quietly. "Why?" "Because life changes." "That's why I keep old ones." She looked at me, actually looked, for maybe 2 seconds, then looked away. People do that when they're carrying something heavy. Guilt, fear, secrets, sometimes all three. That night after she left, I called Mason. Sunday calls existed. Extra Wednesday calls meant something. "Everything okay?" he asked immediately. Parents aren't the only ones who recognize patterns. "Yeah? No. Little bit." "Olivia? How'd you know?" "Because if it was plumbing, you'd sound angrier." Fair point. I leaned back in my recliner. Television muted. Rain tapping against windows. Grand Rapids weather doing that thing where spring can't decide if it wants sunshine or emotional damage. "She keeps asking property questions," I said. "Like what? House? Trust? Paperwork?" Long silence, then, "Probably nothing." "Probably." But he didn't sound convinced. Neither was I. "You know Ryan lost that consulting contract, right?" Mason said. My stomach tightened. "No." "Few months ago." Olivia didn't mention that. They've been stressed. Ryan Mercer, 41, Olivia's boyfriend, financial operations consultant, or at least he had been. I met Ryan 2 years earlier. Country club smile, firm handshake, perfect teeth. The kind of man who says things like circle back, optimize, leverage opportunity. People who say leverage opportunity make me nervous, maybe unfair. Still true. Ryan always felt polished, too polished, like someone who practiced sincerity. He drove a black BMW X5, wore expensive watches, ordered top-shelf bourbon while telling stories loud enough for neighboring tables to appreciate his success. Eddie hated him immediately, not disliked, hated. "Guy smiles like he's selling flood insurance during a drought," Eddie said once. "That's oddly specific." I stand by it. At first I assumed Eddie was being Eddie, protective, suspicious, possibly allergic to confidence. But over time, little things stacked. Ryan interrupted Olivia a lot, corrected people unnecessarily, needed rooms pointed toward him. You know people like that. Conversations become performances. Attention becomes oxygen. 3 Saturdays later, Olivia invited me to dinner. Her place, Ryan cooking steaks. "Pray for me," I told Eddie. Will Ryan explain meat temperatures like he invented cows? Probably. Bring patience. I drove over around 5:40. Neighborhood looked perfect. Fresh mulch, expensive SUVs, American flags, children riding bicycles worth more than my first car. Ryan answered wearing a quarter-zip sweater and confidence. Irvin. Ryan. Good handshake. Too good. Living room smelled like candles and grilled food. Olivia looked tired, really tired. Makeup covered most of it. Not all. Everything okay? I asked quietly. Yeah. Too fast? Lie? Tiny lie. Still lie? Dinner started normal. Steaks, roasted potatoes, Ryan explaining market conditions nobody asked about. Then halfway through dinner, Olivia said something strange. Small, tiny, easy to miss. We're thinking about converting the office into a nursery. Silence. Complete silence. Ryan stopped moving. Olivia froze. 1 second, maybe 2. Then, guest room. Nobody spoke. I took a sip of iced tea, set glass down. Nursery, I said. Guest room. Olivia said quickly. Right? Ryan smiled. Bad sign. Fast recovery smiles usually mean damage control. Future planning, Ryan said. Never hurts. Sure, I said. Conversation moved. Football, construction costs, gas prices, American family dinner survival topics. But my brain stayed parked beside one word, nursery. Pay attention to this next part because old habits don't disappear, they wait. Pattern recognition isn't something you turn off. It becomes part of how you see the world. Timeline, context, behavior, pressure, questions about money, questions about property, stress, Ryan losing income, Olivia changing, then nursery. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Driving home that night down Fulton Street, windshield wipers pushing light rain aside, I heard Evelyn's voice in my head. Not supernatural. Memory? Evelyn noticed people, really noticed them. One Christmas years ago, she'd watched a contractor speak for 10 minutes and quietly told me, "Don't hire him." Why? He talks like someone hiding mistakes. She'd been right. Always terrifying when that happened. I parked outside my house, sat inside the truck, engine off, street quiet, porch light glowing. And for the first time in months, something uncomfortable settled into my chest. Not anger, not fear, recognition. The feeling you get when puzzle pieces exist but haven't connected yet. And somehow that feeling got worse 4 days later. Because Ryan Mercer made the mistake greedy people always make. He got impatient. Greed has a rhythm. I've seen it before. 31 years investigating medical insurance fraud taught me something useful. People doing dishonest things rarely fail because they're smart. They fail because eventually they speed up. They get impatient. They think they're ahead. That's when mistakes happen. 4 days after dinner at Olivia's house, Tuesday morning arrived. Cold Michigan wind, gray skies, late March. Grand Rapids doing that annual performance where winter refuses to leave politely. I left the house around 8:40, needed coffee, bread, joint medicine, normal things, ordinary errands. Funny how life hides disasters inside ordinary days. I drove my Ford Ranger north toward Alpine Avenue. Traffic wasn't bad. A school bus pulled in front of me near Leonard Street. Some teenager wearing headphones nearly walked into traffic while staring at his phone. America continued functioning exactly as America functions. Loud, busy, distracted. I parked outside Mir at 9:03. Same store I'd been visiting for years, same automatic doors, same smell, coffee beans, bakery bread, floor cleaner, fresh produce, retail America, predictable, comforting. I grabbed a cart, bad wheel, naturally. Every store has one. Mine found me immediately. Coffee first, Folgers, classic roast, large container, then bread, turkey, pain medicine, orange juice, paper towels, nothing dramatic, nothing unusual. Around 9:17 exactly, I walked toward self-checkout. Register 4. Young cashier nearby. Kid named Cody. College age. Haircut that looked expensive. expression that suggested customer service had aged him emotionally. I scanned coffee, bread, medicine, then heard a voice beside me, female, early 30s, friendly. "Sorry," she said. "Random question." I glanced over. Woman wearing a gray Michigan State sweatshirt, brown hair pulled back, cart full of groceries, frozen waffles, baby wipes, orange juice. Nothing memorable, at least not yet. "You're Patterson?" she asked. "Excuse me." She pointed carefully. "Not rude." My Meyer reward screen. Last name visible. Patterson. "Sorry," she said quickly. "I know this sounds weird." Usually when people say that, it gets weird. Small laugh, polite, ordinary. "I know Olivia Patterson," she said. My stomach tightened. Not because alarm bells went off. Because parents recognize names differently. Your kid's name always lands harder. "Oh," I said. "You're friends with Olivia Chu, kind of." "Work? No." She smiled. Friendly. Comfortable. Too comfortable. Then she said it. The sentence. The one that split my life clean down the middle. "Wait." Her face changed. Recognition. "Oh my God." "What?" "You're Grace Patterson's grandfather." Silence. Real silence. Not television silence, not awkward silence. The kind that makes sound disappear. I stared at her, brain moving, fast, too fast. "Excuse me," I said. "Grace Patterson," she said. "Olivia's baby." My hand slipped. Joint medicine hit scanner platform. Plastic bottle rolled. Cody glanced over. "Everything okay, sir?" "No, not remotely." "Baby?" I heard myself say. Woman blinked, smile fading, slowly, like she suddenly realized she'd stepped somewhere dangerous. "Oh?" One word. Just one. But I knew immediately. She knew. I knew. Something terrible had happened. "You didn't know?" she said quietly. I wish I could tell you I handled it well. That decades of investigations made me calm, controlled, professional. No. Pain doesn't care about training. Pain arrives however it wants. "Know what?" I asked. Voice steady somehow. Years of interviews. Years controlling reactions. Useful skill. Very useful. Her face lost color. "Oh no." "It's okay," I said automatically. It wasn't okay. Not even close. "I know Olivia from infant care classes," she said carefully. Infant. Care. Classes. Each word landed separately. Heavy. Controlled breathing. Stay calm. Information first. Emotion later. Old habit. "What's your name?" I asked. "Hannah." "Hannah what?" "Hannah Reed." "How do you know Olivia?" "We met through Spectrum Health classes." Spectrum Health, hospital system, Grand Rapids, real, specific, too specific. My pulse climbed. "When?" I asked. "Few months ago." "Few months, few months." "Grace is beautiful," Hannah said softly. "Olivia talks about her all the time." No, she didn't. Not to me, not to Mason, not to family, not to anyone who should have mattered. My daughter had a baby, a child. My granddaughter? And somehow I was standing beside frozen waffles hearing it from someone wearing a Michigan State sweatshirt. Funny thing about heartbreak. Television gets it wrong. You don't always cry. Sometimes your brain starts collecting details, lighting, temperature, sounds, tiny meaningless things. I remember Cody chewing gum, remember somebody dropping a glass jar nearby, remember overhead speakers playing Fleetwood Mac. Memory freezes strange things. "Sir?" Hannah said carefully. "You okay?" No, I said honestly, for the first time. No, I wasn't. "You really didn't know," she whispered. "No." Oh my God. People say that phrase too much. Oh my God. Usually means nothing. This time, it meant exactly enough. "How old?" I asked quietly. "What?" Grace. Pause. Small. Terrible. 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. 90 days. Approximately 90 days. My granddaughter existed for 90 days. Christmas had happened, New Year's, birthdays, phone calls, conversations, nothing. Not one word. I suddenly remembered nursery, Ryan, property questions, stress, timeline, pieces everywhere. Hannah, I said carefully. Yeah? Did Olivia ever mention family to sometimes? Did she mention me silence? Tiny silence, enough. No, she hadn't. Sir, I need air. I grabbed the bags, wrong bags. Didn't realize until parking lot. Cat food. I don't own a cat. Never owned a cat. Still bought cat food. Trauma apparently lowers grocery performance. Cold air hit hard. Michigan wind. Sharp, mean, real. I loaded truck, sat inside, didn't start engine, hands on steering wheel, nothing moving. You know that feeling. When reality changes, but your body hasn't caught up yet, stay with me here. Because this matters. People think betrayal hurts because of what happened. Sometimes. Mostly, betrayal hurts because suddenly old memories change shape. Olivia Tuesday dinners, questions, distance, phone calls, nursery, property, everything rearranging itself, like turning puzzle pieces over and realizing picture changed. 3 months. My granddaughter, Grace Patterson, name Patterson, my blood, my family, unknown to me. I sat there nearly 11 minutes, clock dashboard, 9:31, 9:32, 9:33, one thought repeating, over and over. Why not anger yet? Just why? Why hide this shame, fear, Ryan money? Something worse phone sat beside me. Could call immediately, demand answers, fight, accuse. People expected that. But old instincts stopped me. Investigator instincts, truth first, emotion second, always, always. Because if someone hides one thing this big, there's usually something underneath it. And deep down. Somewhere cold, somewhere experienced. Somewhere 31 years trained to notice patterns I knew. This wasn't only about a baby. I didn't call Olivia. Not from the parking lot, not from home, not that night. People hear a story like this and think restraint means weakness. It doesn't. Sometimes restraint is strategy. Sometimes restraint is survival. And sometimes restraint comes from spending 31 years watching people destroy themselves because they couldn't wait 5 more minutes. I drove home from Major with cat food I didn't need and answers I didn't have. Grand Rapids traffic crawled slower than usual. Or maybe my brain did. Hard to tell. A man in a red pickup cut in front of me near Leonard Street. Normally, I'd mutter something judgmental about driving standards. In modern America, that day nothing, mind elsewhere. My granddaughter, Grace Patterson, 3 months old? 3 months? 3 months of first smiles? 3 months of midnight feedings? 3 months of tiny socks disappearing into impossible dimensions? 3 months of life. Gone. Not gone. Hidden. Different thing. Worse thing. Because death takes people. Secrets erase them. I pulled into my driveway around 10:15. Maple tree swaying. Mailbox leaning slightly left. Needed fixing. Had needed fixing for about 7 years. Evelyn used to joke I'd only repair things when structural collapse became emotionally persuasive. I sat inside my truck another minute, then 2, then 5. House looked normal, which somehow felt offensive. Life should have looked different. Something this big should have changed weather patterns, shifted gravity, cracked sidewalks. Instead, birds, wind, Tuesday, normal. I walked inside, set groceries down, stared at cat food. Good work, Irvin. Silence. Empty kitchen. No Evelyn, no answers. Just me. I made coffee. Bad coffee. Forgot grounds ratio. Made it too strong. Tasted like regret and motor oil. Fitting. Then I sat at the kitchen table. Legal pad? Blue pen? Old habits? People laugh at legal pads. I don't. Legal pads caught lies before computers did. Page 1, top line, Grace Patterson. Underneath timeline. No emotion, not yet. Information first, emotion later. Always. 3 months old. Approximate birth timeline. Pregnancy timeline. Olivia questions property, trust questions. nursery comment, Ryan job loss. I wrote everything: dates, memories, behavior changes, patterns. People underestimate patterns. Patterns matter. My old boss used to say, facts don't hide, people hide facts. 12 years into my career, I learned something else. People carrying secrets often overcompensate. Too much explanation, too much distance, too much control. Olivia suddenly cared about paperwork, house value, trust structures, storage locations. Not random, not anymore. Around noon, I called Mason. Hey, Dad, you busy a little bit? Need dinner tonight. Pause. Everything okay? No. Long silence. What happened? Come around 6. You're scaring me. Good. That's not reassuring. 6. I hung up. Then immediately regretted tone. Stress does that. Makes you sound like someone else. Around 1:30, Eddie showed up because Eddie somehow operated like retired military intelligence mixed with neighborhood gossip infrastructure. He knocked twice, opened door, walked inside carrying coffee. You look terrible, he said. Good afternoon to you too. What happened? How'd you know something happened, Ray? Because you're wearing 2 different socks. I looked down. Blue, black, unbelievable. You gonna tell me? Eddie asked. No. Okay. He sat, waited, took sip of coffee, waited longer. Old friend trick, silence pressure. Works annoyingly well. My daughter had a baby, I said. Eddie blinked. Congratulations. 3 months ago. Smile disappeared. Oh. I found out at Meyer. Oh. From stranger. Long silence. Oh. There it is. You're sure? I don't think people invent grandchildren accidentally. Eddie leaned back slowly. Expression changed. Not anger, concern. Real concern. Talk to Olivia. No. Why? Thinking? Dangerous hobby? Need facts? You got facts. No. I've got pain. Different thing. Eddie nodded slowly. Because old friends understand distinction. Pain feels certain. Truth requires work. You think Ryan knows? Eddie asked. Yes. You think Mason knows Ami? No. You think this connects to money questions? I don't know. Lie, tiny lie, I suspected strongly. But suspicion isn't evidence, not yet. Irvin. What? People hide babies for reasons. Helpful. I'm serious. I know. Fear, money, shame, bad relationship, medical problems, something. Nobody hides family joy accidentally, especially Olivia. Not old Olivia. Not girl who once called me crying because she'd forgotten Mother's Day flowers when she was 19. Not girl who drove 37 minutes during college finals because Evelyn had flu. Not that Olivia. Something changed. Question wasn't if, question was how much. Check social media, Eddie asked. No. Why? Because people fake social media. Fair. Need timeline first? You miss job. No. You absolutely miss job. Maybe, little, fine, some. After Eddie left, I opened laptop, Facebook, Instagram, nothing obvious. Olivia posted less than before. Mostly work things, coffee pictures, landscapes, quotes. Successful people pretend change their lives. No baby, no pregnancy, no hospital, no announcement. Ryan's profile, less careful, interesting, very interesting. Golf pictures, business conference photos, restaurant dinners. One picture caught my eye. November, 5 months ago. Ryan standing outside restaurant. Olivia beside him. Loose sweater, hand placement, protective, subtle. Could mean nothing. Could mean pregnancy. Timeline. Again. Timeline. Another photo, December, Christmas, family gathering. Olivia missing. She said food poisoning. Mason remembered. Interesting. Very. I opened phone records. Text history. Calendar. Mental timeline building itself. January. Olivia canceled lunch. February. Busy with work. March. Questions about trust accelerated. Then one thing stopped me cold. Address. Stay with me here. Pay attention. Because this mattered. A lot. 3 weeks earlier, Olivia needed old insurance paperwork, said employer benefits issue, asked if she could still use house address temporarily. Mail confusion, short term, simple. I said yes, because parents help. Normal, helpful, ordinary. But suddenly ordinary felt dangerous. Medical forms, mail, hospital paperwork, address usage. My old instincts woke fully. Cold, sharp, focused. I opened file cabinet, property records, insurance paperwork, stored documents, then sat back slowly, very slowly, because a possibility entered my head. One ugly enough I almost rejected immediately. People planning financial pressure often create emotional leverage first. Family leverage, security leverage, future leverage. Children change negotiations. Children change guilt. Children change people. No, I thought, no. Too far, too cynical, too ugly. Except ugly existed. My granddaughter existed. Hidden. 3 months. My daughter lied. Ryan lied. Questions about house increased. Trust questions increased. Address usage, pressure, timeline, pattern. At 6:30, Mason walked inside. Concern written all over him. "You look awful," he said. "Apparently that's popular feedback today." What happened? I looked at him. My son, good man, honest, reliable, and suddenly I hated what came next. Because pain shared becomes pain multiplied. "Sit down," I said quietly. Mason sat, kitchen silent, clock ticking, wind outside, life changing. Again. "Olivia had a baby," I said. And for the second time in 24 hours, I watched somebody I loved stop breathing for a second. Mason stared at me. Not confused, not yet, just waiting. People think bad news arrives all at once. It doesn't. Bad news unfolds layer by layer. Like somebody slowly turning lights on inside a room you never wanted to enter. "What do you mean Olivia had a baby?" Mason asked quietly. "I mean Olivia had a baby." "No." "Yes." "No." "I know." "When?" 3 months ago." He leaned back hard enough his chair complained. "No, that's twice now." "Dad, I found out yesterday." "From Olivia." "No." Silence. I watched realization hit him, slow then fast. "No," he whispered. "Meyer." "What? Stranger at Mayer?" He stood immediately, started pacing. Kitchen, living room, kitchen again. Mason processed anger physically. Always had. Age 12, he lost a baseball game and reorganized the garage without being asked. Age 16, he got dumped and pressure washed the driveway. Pain moved through him. Movement helped. "She didn't tell me," he said. "No." 3 months. 3. No call. No. No text. No. No picture. No. He stopped pacing. Looked at Evelyn's old coffee mug sitting beside the sink. The blue one, small chip near handle, Mom's mug, always Mom's mug. "Why?" he asked, "working on it." "No, you're not." "I am." "Dad." "I am." "You're building a case." "No." "You're absolutely building a case." "Little bit?" "Fine. Maybe?" I made coffee, proper coffee this time. Needed functional thinking, needed calm, needed Evelyn, didn't have Evelyn. Still hate that. Some losses don't shrink. You just get stronger carrying them. Around 8:30, Mason finally sat. "What do we know?" "Good question. Good son." I grabbed legal pad, timeline, notes, address issue, Ryan contract loss, trust questions, nursery comment, hospital classes, behavior changes. Mason read quietly, face tightening. Then Ryan. "What about Ryan?" "This feels like Ryan." Dangerous thought, easy thought, too easy. Life rarely gives villains wearing obvious signs. "Maybe," I said. "No maybe." "Careful." Daddy, careful. Because here's something experience teaches. The first explanation usually feels satisfying. That doesn't make it true. I need facts, I said. You always need facts. Facts survive arguments. What if Olivia did this herself? Silence. Hard silence. Because we both knew. Possible. Painfully possible. Around 9:15, Mason left. Work next morning. Life continuing because life doesn't care when your world changes. Before leaving, he stopped near front door. You calling her? No. When don't know, you should. Not yet. Why? Because something felt wrong. Bigger than hidden baby. Bigger than embarrassment. Bigger than shame. I couldn't prove it. Couldn't explain it. But old instincts kept pulling same direction. Patterns. Always patterns. Next morning, I called Claire Whitmore, 52, family attorney, friend of Evelyn's, practical, smart, dangerously observant. We'd known Claire 20 years. She helped Evelyn draft trust paperwork years earlier. Irvin, she said, need advice. Legal advice? Possibly. That tone concerns me. Good. You're impossible. Available lunch once downtown. Madcap coffee? Fine. Rain again. Michigan committed fully to emotional symbolism, apparently. Claire arrived exactly on time. Dark coat, leather folder, professional competence radiating off her like expensive perfume. You look awful, she said. Popular feedback lately. What happened? I told her. Everything. Meyer, Grace, 3 months, questions, trust, address, Ryan, nursery, timeline. Claire listened. Didn't interrupt. Good lawyers know silence works. When finished, she sat back slowly. Wow. Strong legal opinion. Shut up. Sorry. No, you're not. Fair. What are you thinking? I asked. Honestly? Yes. I think your daughter is scared. Of what? Failure. Interesting. Not greed. Fear creates greed? Stay with me here. Because that mattered. A lot. Claire stirred coffee. Thinking. Address issue bothers me, she said finally. Why use your address? Mail, maybe. But people under financial pressure make strange paperwork decisions. Pressure. Again, same word. Pressure. What kind financial pressure? I asked. Claire hesitated. Ryan lost more than contract. I froze. What? Who told you? Professional circles? Claire. He had investors. My stomach tightened. How bad? Don't know. Claire. Bad enough people noticed? Bad enough people noticed. Not phrase you want attached to person dating daughter. Anything public? Not yet. Not yet. Dangerous words. I drove home thinking too hard, which led exactly where thinking too hard always leads. Internet, public records, business filings, old investigative muscle memory returning fully. Ryan Mercer Consulting Group, business status, recent filing changes, address modifications. Interesting, very interesting. Business restructuring, debt adjustment filing, not bankruptcy. Close enough make me uncomfortable. Timeline matched almost perfectly. 3 months, financial strain, baby, property questions, address use, pressure, fear, greed, patterns. Around 4:30, Eddie called. Found something, he said. My pulse jumped. What? Relax. I'm relaxed. You're a terrible liar. What? Ryan sold watch. What watch? Fancy watch. How no? Facebook Marketplace. Eddie, what? You monitor Facebook Marketplace. I contain multitudes. You're impossible. Guy sold $5,000 watch. Could mean nothing. Guy drives BMW and sells Rolex while your daughter hides baby. Silence. Eddie. What? Careful. You're saying careful too much lately. Maybe, because anger wanted control. Control wanted certainty. Certainty takes time. That evening around 6:30, something happened. Small thing, important thing. Olivia called. First time in 4 days. Phone rang, kitchen counter. Her name, Olivia. I stared, didn't answer immediately. 3 rings, 4, 5, finally. Hey, kid, normal voice. Felt impossible. Hey, Dad, normal voice. Felt worse. You busy? No. You okay? Lie detector brain, automatic, listening, breathing, tone, rhythm. Stress markers, old habits. Fine, she said. No, not fine. You good? Lie. Small lie, still lie. You doing anything Saturday? She asked. No. Ryan and I thinking dinner. Dinner. Interesting. Sure. You sure? Yep. Long pause. Tiny. Almost invisible, unless trained, unless watching, unless listening carefully. Okay, she said. You sound tired. Work. Everything okay? Fine. Lie. Again. Tiny. Again. Then something strange, really strange. Dad, she said quietly. Yeah. You still keeping paperwork in hallway closet? There it was. Again, second time, same question. Different day, different voice, pressure, pattern, need. Something cold moved through my chest, not pain, recognition. Why? I asked. No reason. Lie. Not tiny anymore. And suddenly, for first time, I stopped asking why Olivia hid my granddaughter and started asking something worse. What exactly was my daughter planning? Saturday dinner happened exactly 6 days after Meyer. 6 days. Long enough to think, not long enough to heal. I drove to Olivia's house at 5:42 p.m. Cold air, cloud cover, Michigan spring pretending it wasn't still winter. My Ford Ranger made its usual clicking sound turning into her neighborhood. Rich neighborhoods have a feeling. Not money, control, everything trimmed, everything clean, everything managed. Ryan liked managed. I noticed his BMW first. Black, fresh wash, parked perfectly centered in the driveway. Interesting. A man selling luxury watches because of financial pressure doesn't usually prioritize premium detailing packages. Unless appearances matter more than reality, pay attention to that. People protecting an image spend energy in strange places. Olivia opened the door. Hey, Dad. Hey, kid. She hugged me, quick, too quick. You spend enough years around people hiding things, you notice hesitation. Not because they become bad, because secrets take up space. She looked tired, more tired than before. Hair pulled back, light gray sweater, no makeup. Dark circles under her eyes, not dramatic, real, exhausted. 3-month-old baby exhausted, except she still hadn't told me. Come in, she said. House smelled like garlic, rosemary, steak. Ryan stood near kitchen island. Perfect smile, perfect posture, perfect performance. Irvin. Ryan. Handshake. Firm. Controlled. People reveal things during handshakes. Pressure. Confidence. Need for dominance. Ryan squeezed harder than normal. Subtle. Not subtle enough. Living room looked different. Cleaner. Less decorative. Something removed. Something changed. My eyes moved automatically. Old habits. Corner near stairs. Unused. Blank. Large enough for nursery. No, not nursery. Baby equipment. Nothing visible. Interesting. Very interesting. Drink, Ryan asked. Tea. Bourbon. Tea. Good bourbon. Good tea? Olivia almost smiled. Almost. Small victory. Dinner started around 6:15. Steaks, roasted potatoes, asparagus. Ryan talking, always talking. Market trends, business recovery, consulting opportunities, economic forecasts. A man performing success. Eddie would have hated this meal. You been busy? Ryan asked. Normal stuff. House projects, mailbox still leaning. He laughed. Too hard. Olivia barely touched food. Another thing. Parents know eating patterns. Children become adults, still same people. She used to stress eat fries. Now steak sat untouched. You okay? I asked quietly. Fine. Lie. Ryan answered instead. She's tired. I can answer. I know. Tension, small, brief, real, interesting. Then Ryan said it. Mistake number 1. So, Irvin, he said casually, you ever think about downsizing? There it was. Again, house, always house. Sometimes. Market's incredible right now. So people keep telling me, you've built serious equity. Apparently. You ever calculate total value? No, and lie, I knew exactly. Not because money mattered, because responsible adults know assets. Ryan cut steak carefully, too carefully. Control, always control. Big property for one guy, he said. House fits me. Now. There. Pressure subtle. Not subtle enough. Olivia shifted. Ryan, what? Stop. I'm talking. I know. No offense intended, Ryan said. None taken? Lie? Little one? Useful one? Conversation moved briefly. Then Olivia asked, Dad, where'd you put Mom's old paperwork? My fork stopped. Tiny pause. Enough. Paperwork. Trust stuff. Why? No reason? Lie. Again. Ryan drank water. Didn't look up. Too controlled. Control itself becomes information. Just organizing things mentally, Olivia said. Mentally. Interesting word choice. Paperwork still hallway closet, Ryan asked casually. There. Right there. Stay with me here. Because greedy people make mistakes. Remember that. He shouldn't have known, Olivia asked privately. Ryan knowing meant discussion happened elsewhere. Repeatedly. Planned. Prepared. Not casual, not random. Pattern. Why? I asked. No reason. Ryan smiled. There it is, I said. What? Olivia asked. Nothing. Dangerous moment. Not because anger rose, because certainty did. After dinner, Olivia cleared dishes. Ryan stepped outside. Phone call. Business. Always business. I helped kitchen cleanup. Olivia washing plates, me drying like old times. Almost. You okay? I asked quietly. Yeah. No. Dad. No. Silence, water running, dish soap, memory. Evelyn standing there years ago. Christmas music playing, kids younger, life simpler. You're tired, I said. Work. No. Silence. You can tell me things. I know. No matter what. I know. No matter how bad. I know. Her shoulders tightened. Just slightly. Enough. You haven't been sleeping? I said. I'm fine. No. No, she wasn't. Then something happened. Tiny, huge, life-changing. Her phone buzzed, kitchen counter, screen lit up. Not intentional. Accidents tell truth. Message preview. From Ryan. Visible 1 second. 2. Enough for trained eyes. Enough for old instincts. Enough. Message need him calm. Don't bring up Grace yet. Everything stopped. Not physically. Emotionally. World narrowed. Kitchen, sink, phone, words, Grace, my granddaughter, proof, real proof. Not suspicion, not theory, not instinct, fact, cold, hard, fact. Olivia moved fast, grabbed phone, too fast, too late. She knew instantly. She knew I'd seen. Silence, heavy, terrible. Grace, I said quietly, no answer. Olivia, nothing. Grace. Her breathing changed. People think guilt looks dramatic sometimes. Mostly guilt looks tired, small, human, broken. Dad, when? Tears immediately, not performance, real. When? I asked again, please. When? I didn't know how. There it was. Not denial. Confirmation. Truth. Sharp enough hurt. I didn't know how, she whispered. My granddaughter existed, real. Confirmed. Standing in kitchen where my wife once baked birthday cakes, where my daughter learned fractions, where life happened, and she hid my granddaughter. No, I said quietly, no. Dad, no. Tears. Real tears? Real pain? Complicated pain? Human pain, which somehow made it worse, because monsters are easier. Broken people hurt more. 3 months, I asked. She nodded. 3 months. Dad, 3 months. I was scared. Of what? Silence. Big silence. Terrible silence. Then front door opened. Ryan, walking inside smiling. Comfortable. Confident. Not anymore. Because greedy people eventually make mistake number 2. They think winning already happened. And Ryan Mercer had absolutely no idea. He'd just lost control of the room. Ryan stepped into the kitchen carrying confidence like a man carrying something he thought nobody could take away. Everything okay? He asked. No, nothing was okay. But experience teaches restraint, especially when truth starts showing itself. You don't interrupt it. You let it keep talking. Olivia stood beside the sink, eyes red, phone in her hand. Ryan looked from her to me, back to her, fast. Too fast. His face changed. Not much. People without training wouldn't notice. I noticed. Tiny tightening around eyes. Jaw shift. Mental calculation. You spend 31 years reading dishonest people, and eventually certain expressions become subtitles. What happened? Ryan asked. Nobody answered. Olivia? Still nothing. Then he looked at me. Dangerous mistake, because suddenly he wasn't managing Olivia anymore. He was managing me. And Ryan Mercer still believed I was an old man with a pickup truck and a hallway closet. He smiled carefully. Irvin, Grace, I said quietly. Silence. Real silence. Not television silence. Truth. Silence. Ryan blinked once, twice. Too slow. Too controlled. Grace, he repeated. Good try. Bad execution. I saw your text. There. Gone. Control left his face, briefly. But enough. Enough, enough. Irvin, Olivia whispered. No, I said. Not angry, not loud. Worse, calm. Very calm. Ryan straightened. Business voice, professional voice, consultant voice. I think maybe we should sit down. Interesting. People losing control often request structure, meetings, chairs, plans, order, control. No, I said. We can explain. Good. There's context. I'm listening. Olivia started crying quietly. Real crying, not manipulation. I knew manipulation. This wasn't that. This was exhaustion, fear, shame. Ryan moved closer toward her. Protective, possessive. Hard tell difference sometimes. We didn't mean, he started. No, I said. You're going to answer exactly one question. Silence. When were you planning to tell me I had a granddaughter? Nobody spoke. Kitchen clock, dishwasher humming, wind outside, America continuing. Ryan looked at Olivia. Mistake, again. People with hidden partnerships do that. Look for coordination, shared story, shared script. Olivia finally whispered, I don't know. Not true. I didn't know how. Different answer. Tears, quiet, real. Ryan stepped in. Irvin looked, no. His expression shifted. Pressure. Pressure changing people. We were trying to protect, no. Things were complicated, no. Financially, there. Stay with me here, because greed gets impatient. Remember, always. Financially. Wrong word, wrong moment, wrong man. My old instinct sharpened instantly. Financially. Interesting. Very interesting. Financially, I said quietly. Ryan immediately realized mistake. Too late. Olivia closed eyes. Tiny movement. Enough, enough, enough. I lost work, Ryan said carefully. I know. Silence. His face changed. Consulting contract, I said. Business restructuring. More silence. Watch sale. Nothing. Debt adjustment filings. Olivia slowly looked up. Ryan completely stopped moving. There it was. Recognition. People always underestimate quiet men, especially older quiet men. Bad decision. Very bad. You investigated me, Ryan asked. No. Lie? Little one? Useful one? I paid attention. Different thing. Olivia sat slowly. Chair creaked. You knew, she whispered. Enough. No. Enough. Dad? 3 months. I know. No, you don't. Silence. Because she didn't. Couldn't. 3 months isn't time. 3 months is moments, missing moments, lost moments. First smile, first laugh, first sleepless nights. Tiny socks, small hands. Things fathers understand, grandfathers too. Why? I asked quietly. Finally, the real question, not accusation, question. Olivia wiped eyes, hands shaking. I was embarrassed. Silence. I thought you'd hate me. What? Ryan lost work. We had problems. Financial problems. We moved money around. Credit cards, debt, medical bills. Medical bills. Baby, hospital, of course. Then Ryan immediately moved. Olivia? No. Interesting, very interesting. No, I said quietly. Olivia stared at counter, not me, counter. People stare away from people they hurt. We thought maybe, she whispered. No, 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 not maybe, not this. Say it. Silence. Dad? Say it. We thought maybe if you knew about Grace. Everything cold inside me became ice. There it was. Not hidden anymore. Not theory, truth. Ugly truth. We thought you'd want us closer, Olivia whispered. We thought maybe you'd help. Help. One word. Heavy word. Dangerous word. Help. I repeated. We weren't trying to hurt. No. No, no, no. I stood slow, careful, not angry, not yelling, worse. Disappointed. Real disappointment changes rooms. Property questions, I said quietly. No answer. Trust questions. Silence. Paperwork. Silence. House. Silence. Address. Olivia crying harder now. Ryan looked cornered. Good. Not enough, but good. You used my address, I said. We needed me, my address. Temporary me, my address. Medical paperwork, my address. Ryan stepped forward. Bad decision. Enough, he said sharply. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Sharp voice. Pressure, finally winning. There it is, I said quietly. What? Real you. His face hardened. Gone. Professional consultant Ryan, gone. Performance Ryan, gone. Things happen, he said. No. They got difficult. No. You don't understand. Dangerous sentence. Never tell older people they don't understand, especially older people who spent careers understanding exactly people like you. No, I said quietly. I understand perfectly. You don't. I do. You have no idea what pressure. I buried my wife. Silence. Complete silence. I sat beside hospital beds. Silence. I sold things. Silence. I skipped meals. Silence. I worked holidays. Silence. I raised children. Silence. I know pressure. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nobody argued. Because some truths don't need volume. Just wait. Olivia crying openly now. Shoulders shaking. Real pain. Real consequences. Real people. Broken people. Human people. Which somehow still hurt. More than anger would have. I never wanted money? Olivia whispered. No, not fully. That part I believed. Greed rarely starts greedy. Fear grows first. Fear becomes pressure. Pressure becomes justification. Justification becomes choices. Bad choices. Then enough bad choices become identity. What happens now? Ryan asked quietly. Interesting question. Wrong person asking. I looked at Olivia. Not Ryan. Never Ryan. This wasn't really about Ryan. Ryan accelerated disaster, but Olivia opened door. I don't know, I said honestly, because for first time since Meyer, I truly didn't. But I knew one thing, absolutely, certain, without question, without doubt. Whatever happened next wasn't happening in this kitchen, and it definitely wasn't happening tonight. I drove home in silence. No music, no radio, no news. Just windshield wipers moving slowly across cold March rain. Grand Rapids blurred behind water and streetlights. People talk about anger like it's fire, hot, fast, explosive. Not always. Sometimes anger feels cold, sharp, clean, controlled. That kind scares people more. I parked outside my house around 8:40 p.m., sat inside the truck, engine off. Hands resting on steering wheel, same place I'd sat days earlier after Mayor, except now I knew. Not everything. Enough. Enough to hurt. Enough to understand, not enough to heal. House looked exactly the same. Brick, porch light, leaning mailbox, maple tree, life pretending nothing changed. I hated that. Inside silence waited. Old familiar silence. Only now it felt different. Heavier. I set keys down, walked toward hallway closet, opened it. Folders, documents, insurance papers, trust paperwork, property records. The closet Olivia asked about, twice, no, 3 times. I stood there longer than necessary, thinking, not about money, never really about money. Money had simply become language, fear speaking through numbers, pressure wearing paperwork, still wrong, still betrayal. But human made things harder. Monsters are easy. People you love, complicated. Phone rang. Mason. You okay? He asked. No. Talk to her? Yes. Long silence. And she knows what that I know. Another silence. Bigger. He know. Mason asked. Ryan, he knows. What happened? I told him. Kitchen, phone notification, Grace, debt, pressure, house, everything. When I finished, silence sat between us. Not empty silence, processing silence. Finally, I'm going over there. No. Dad? No. She lied. I know. 3 months. I know. He manipulated her. Maybe. Not maybe. Dangerous word. Dad. Mason. You always do this. Do what? Make things complicated. No. Yes. No. People make complicated. I heard him breathe hard. Frustration, pain, love. Family emotions rarely travel alone. Mom would have lost her mind, he said quietly. That one hit. Hard. Because he was right. Evelyn would have exploded. Not dramatic screaming. Worse. Controlled disappointment. The Patterson family feared Evelyn disappointment more than punishment. You remember Olivia at 16, I asked. What about 16? Credit card. Small laugh. Against his will. Good. Needed that. Needed normal. Olivia stole Evelyn's emergency card. Bought concert tickets. $286. Thought nobody would notice? Evelyn noticed, of course. What did Mom say? Mason asked quietly. Nothing. Exactly. 2 days. Exactly. Evelyn waited 2 days. Normal, calm, no yelling, no punishment. Then sat Olivia down. Asked one question, only one. What kind of woman are you becoming? Olivia cried 3 hours, not because Evelyn attacked, because disappointment from someone good cuts deeper. I miss her, Mason said quietly. Me too. Always, always. After hanging up, I made tea, not coffee. Enough coffee lately. Kitchen clock read 10:13 p.m. Rain heavier now. Michigan fully committed to emotional support weather. I walked into living room, sat near fireplace, photo shelf, Evelyn, Olivia age 10, Mason age 6, Disney trip, bad haircuts, good years. I picked up one frame. Olivia, age 7, gap in front teeth, soccer uniform, holding participation trophy like Olympic gold. People don't realize this. Parents keep versions of their children frozen in memory. Not because we ignore adulthood, because love archives things. You remember 5, 8, 12, 21, all at same time, which means betrayal doesn't arrive from stranger. It arrives wearing face you've loved decades. Around 10:47 p.m. phone buzzed. Olivia, message, short, simple. Can we talk tomorrow? I stared, didn't answer. Not immediately. Restraint. Remember, restraint matters. 3 minutes later, another message. Please. Then, Dad, I'm sorry. Interesting word, useful word, incomplete word. Sorry, fixes, spilled coffee, broken dishes, forgotten appointments. Some things require more. I typed, deleted, typed again, deleted again. Finally, tomorrow, 2 p.m., my house, come alone. 3 dots appeared, stopped, appeared again. Then, okay, come alone. Important, very important, because stay with me here. I needed truth, real truth, not coordinated truth, not relationship truth, not survival truth, Olivia truth, difference matters. Next morning, Eddie showed up carrying coffee and exactly zero respect for emotional boundaries. You look worse, he said, appreciate support. You sleeping? No. Eating some? Liar. I had crackers. Crackers aren't food. They technically qualify. Depression nutrition doesn't count. I'm not depressed. No, not depressed. You're right, I am. You're furious. Little bit fine, more than little. We sat kitchen table. Morning sunlight finally winning battle against rain. Grand Rapids looked cleaner after storms. Eddie drank coffee. Studied me. Old friends do that. They inventory damage quietly. What's move? He asked. Talking Olivia. Ryan? No. Good. Need truth? You got truth? No. Got enough? No. Still investigator? Always? Retired investigator. Brain didn't retire. Eddie nodded. Because he knew. He'd known 30 years. When something didn't fit, my brain pulled thread, couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. Sometimes gift, sometimes curse. Around noon, Claire called. How are you? She asked. Bad? Expected? Told Olivia. She knows. Ryan, yes. Silence. You okay? Claire asked. No. Good. What? Means you still care. Interesting thing. Pain means caring survived. Hate means caring twisted. Indifference means caring died. Pain. Pain meant possibility remained. Didn't feel comforting. Still true. At 1:38 p.m., I straightened living room. Pointless. Stress cleaning. Universal human behavior. Folded blanket. Adjusted chair. Moved magazines. Sat. Stood. Sat again. Truck door outside. 1:56. Early. Olivia always arrived early when nervous. Evelyn trait. Not mine. Doorbell. 1 ring. Soft. Careful. I opened a door. Olivia stood there, blue coat, hair tied back, no makeup, no Ryan. Good. Eyes tired, very tired. She looked smaller somehow. Fear does that. Hi, Dad. Come in. She stepped inside, looked around. House, photos, life, history, memory, everything she'd risked. We sat living room. Fireplace off. Afternoon light across carpet. Neither speaking. 30 seconds. Maybe more. Then finally Olivia whispered, Grace's middle name is Evelyn. And for first time since Mayor, something inside me cracked. Grace's middle name is Evelyn. For a second, everything inside me stopped. Not anger, not hurt. Something older, deeper. The strange kind of pain that only happens when love and betrayal collide in the same place. I looked at Olivia. Really looked. 38 years old. My daughter. My stubborn little girl who once cried for 45 straight minutes because a goldfish died when she was 9. The same kid who used to crawl into our bed during thunderstorms. The same girl who stood beside her mother's hospital bed holding Evelyn's hand and whispering, I'm here. And suddenly I understood something. Pain doesn't erase love. It sits beside it, breathes next to it, makes everything heavier. When? I asked quietly. When did you name her that? Olivia wiped her eyes. Before she was born. I looked away. Fireplace, bookshelf, old framed photo near television. Evelyn smiling beside Lake Michigan. Summer, blue sky, good years. You named her after your mother, I said quietly. Yes, but didn't tell me she existed. Her shoulders folded inward, small, broken, Human. I know. No, you don't. Silence. Real silence. The kind that matters. Because this wasn't about money anymore. Money mattered. But something deeper sat underneath it. Fear, shame, failure. People build terrible decisions on those foundations. I need you to explain everything, I said, all of it. She nodded slowly, hands shaking. I found out I was pregnant 8 months after Ryan lost the consulting contract. Quiet. I didn't tell people right away. Why? Because I thought things would get better. They didn't. No, they didn't. I was scared, she whispered. Of what? Everything. Interesting answer. Broad answers usually hide specific fears. Try again. Silence, then money. There. Truth. Finally. We had debt. How much? I don't know exactly. You know exactly. Tears again. Quiet. Controlled. Human. 73,000. I sat back slowly. 73,000. Credit cards, medical bills, business losses, bad timing, bad decisions, bad fear. We used savings, she whispered. Then Ryan lost another client. We kept thinking we'd recover. We didn't. And Grace, I asked quietly, complications. Cold moved through my chest. What complications? NICU. I froze. What? 16 days. No. 16 days. Hospital, machines, fear. Alone, my daughter, my granddaughter, alone without me, without Mason, without family, without support because she was scared. God. Fear destroys people, not immediately. Slowly, like rust. Why didn't you call me? I wanted to. Then why didn't you? Because every week that passed made it harder. True. Painfully true. Shame grows interest. The longer secrets live, the more expensive they become. I told Ryan we should tell you, she whispered. Interesting. Very interesting. Ryan said no, I asked. Long silence. Long enough. He thought, I know what Ryan thought. He wasn't trying this. No, don't. Because now I understood. Not everything. Enough. Ryan didn't create this. Ryan accelerated it. Difference matters. He thought if things got worse, Olivia whispered, house. She closed eyes. House, of course, house. He thought if Grace needed stability, she whispered, trust, property, leverage, not evil, worse, rationalized. Greed rarely sounds greedy. Greed sounds reasonable. That's why people miss it. We weren't trying to steal from you, she whispered quickly. We thought, I know what you thought, and I did. Fear convinced them survival justified strategy. Pressure convinced them manipulation wasn't manipulation. Bad decisions wrapped themselves inside love. Ugly, human, dangerous. Did you use my address on paperwork? I asked. Yes. Medical paperwork. Yes. Insurance. Yes. Without asking. Silence. I was going to tell you. When? No answer. Exactly. When? I don't know. No, she didn't, because people hiding things always think they'll confess later. Later becomes next week, then next month, then impossible. Does Mason know? No. He deserves truth. I know. No. You don't. Silence again, heavy again. Then quietly, do you want to see her? Everything stopped. Again, not emotionally, completely. 'Cause stay with me here. You think you know what matters. Then life rearranges priorities. House didn't matter. Trust didn't matter. Money didn't matter. My granddaughter existed. Breathing, laughing, growing. Without me. What? I said quietly. Grace. No. Too fast, too dangerous, too emotional. She's upstairs, Olivia whispered. I stopped breathing for a second, actually stopped. She's here. Yes. God. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months gone. I didn't plan this, Olivia whispered. I know. I know. No. Didn't know. Didn't matter. Because suddenly everything narrowed. hallway, stairs, small sounds upstairs, tiny sounds, life sounds, baby sounds, my granddaughter sounds. She's sleeping, Olivia whispered. I stood, sat back down, stood again. Ridiculous, 67 years old. Couldn't stand correctly, heart moving too fast, hands cold, brain loud. You're shaking, Olivia whispered. No. Lie. Terrible lie. Irvin Patterson, Evelyn used to say. You're awful at pretending, always was, still am. Olivia stood slowly. Come on, she whispered. Stairs. 10 steps, maybe 12. Don't know? Couldn't tell you. Brain elsewhere? Hallway upstairs, white walls, family photos, one door partly open, light, soft, quiet. My chest hurt, not medically, emotionally, worse, better, both. She's in here, Olivia whispered. Room small, soft yellow walls, chair near window, bookshelf, blankets, tiny clothes, nursery, actual nursery. God, nursery. The word, months ago, dinner, Ryan, puzzle pieces finally complete, bassinet near wall, small, too small. How are babies that small? How? Impossible. Human beings start that small. No, no chance. Not real. Couldn't be. Olivia stepped closer, careful, gentle, mother gentle, different from daughter gentle, new, changed. She leaned down slowly, picked baby up, tiny, sleeping, small, hand near face, dark hair, blanket, impossible, beautiful, impossible, beautiful. Grace, Olivia whispered. My granddaughter opened her eyes, blue, gray, baby eyes, looking, just looking. Didn't know me, of course didn't. Didn't know grandfather existed. Knife directly into chest, clean hit, perfect hit. Do you want to hold her? Olivia whispered. No, yes, no. Too dangerous, too much. Dad. I reached, slowly, hands careful, terrified, completely terrified. She weighed almost nothing, warm, tiny, real. My granddaughter, Grace Evelyn Patterson, 3 months old, 3 months gone, but here, still here. And suddenly, for first time since Major, I understood something. Truth won. But winning truth and healing family were not even close to the same thing. Grace made a small noise in her sleep, tiny, soft, the kind of sound that somehow reaches places inside you that years cannot touch. I sat in Olivia's nursery chair holding my granddaughter while afternoon sunlight stretched across pale yellow walls. 3 months, 90 days, gone, and somehow not gone, because life doesn't move in straight lines. Families don't either. She likes being held like that, Olivia whispered. I looked down. Grace's hand rested against my thumb. Tiny fingers, warm, trusting. No idea what adults had broken around her. Good. Children deserve that for as long as possible. She has mom's eyes, Olivia said quietly. No? What? Your mother's eyes changed colors when she got mad. A tiny laugh escaped Olivia, small, broken, real. For a second, just a second. It felt normal. Dangerous thing. Normal. Because normal tricks you into believing damage disappeared. Damage doesn't disappear. It heals. Slowly, or it doesn't. Depends what people do next. I need to ask something, I said quietly. Olivia nodded. Everything. What? Everything. No more partial truth. No more controlled truth. No more survival truth. Everything. So she told me, not quickly, not dramatically. The way people tell painful truth. Messy, uneven, human. Ryan lost his consulting contract. Then another. Then another. Credit card balances climbed. Medical bills from Grace's NICU stay hit harder than expected. Insurance covered much. Not enough. Ryan panicked. Olivia panicked. Fear became pressure. Pressure became bad thinking. Bad thinking became worse decisions. Ryan suggested using my address. Temporary. Just paperwork. Just until things stabilize. Then trust questions started. House questions, asset questions. Not because Olivia wanted to hurt me. Because scared people start treating security like oxygen. They grab, hold, protect, even when wrong. Especially when wrong. What about Ryan? I asked. Silence, long silence. He thought survival mattered more than honesty, Olivia whispered. There, real answer, not evil, worse, human. He said we'd tell you later. You agreed. Tears. Quiet. Yes. You kept agreeing. Yes. You kept choosing him. Silence, big silence, pained silence. Yes, she whispered. People ask questions when they already know answers, not for information, for acceptance, for reality. Truth feels different when spoken aloud. Does he know you're telling me all this? I asked. No. Interesting. Very interesting. What happens now? Olivia whispered. I looked at Grace, sleeping, peaceful, innocent, the center of a storm she never created. No more using my address. Okay. No paperwork. Okay. No property conversations. Okay. No manipulation. Tears again. Okay. And Ryan doesn't decide what happens between us. Long silence. Then okay. Good. Because boundaries aren't punishment. Boundaries are instructions. 3 days later, Mason came over. I didn't warn Olivia, didn't warn him. Some conversations happened cleaner without preparation. Ryan wasn't there. Work interview, apparently. Interesting timing. Mason walked into Olivia's living room carrying controlled anger and bakery donuts, emotional support pastries, family tradition. Olivia stood near kitchen, nervous, scared, good. Not because fear solves things, because accountability begins there. Neither spoke immediately. 5 seconds, 10, 15. Then Mason said, You named her Evelyn. Olivia cried instantly, some wounds already waiting. Yeah, she whispered. You really thought I wouldn't want to know. No answer. I would have been there. Silence. I would have helped. Silence. I would have loved her. And there it was. Not money, not betrayal, loss. The loss hurts most. Lost moments, lost chances, lost memories. You don't recover those. You carry them. I know, Olivia whispered. No, I know. No, Mason shook his head slowly. I missed 3 months. I know. No, you don't. Interesting. Same thing I'd said. Pain travels through families, changes shape, keeps meaning. Then something happened, unexpected, small, powerful. Grace cried upstairs, immediate silence. Parent silence, family silence. Olivia moved automatically. Mason watched. And suddenly, without warning, he smiled. Tiny, broken, real. She's loud, he asked quietly. Very, Olivia whispered. Good, good. Patterson trait. Little laugh, small, human. Healing doesn't arrive dramatically. Sometimes healing enters room, wearing exhaustion and carrying baby bottles. 2 weeks later, Ryan came to my house. Alone, rain. Of course, rain. Michigan remained committed to symbolism. I opened door. He looked worse, less polished, less performance, more person, interceding. Can we talk? He asked. No. Fair answer. Irvin. No. I messed up. Yes. I panicked. Yes. I was trying to protect. No. Not again. Not that. Not anymore. You don't get to call manipulation protection. Silence. Real silence. Good. I love Olivia, he said quietly. Interesting. Because I believed him. Dangerous thing. Truth mixed with failure makes life complicated. I believe that, I said. He looked surprised. But loving someone badly still hurts them. Silence. You understand? Yes. No. I do. Then prove it. People earn trust slowly, especially after breaking it. Months passed, not perfect months, real months. Grace learned laughing, loud laughing, aggressive laughing. Patterson family trait apparently. Olivia came Tuesdays again, not every Tuesday, most Tuesdays. Progress, not perfection. Ryan found work, smaller company, less money. Good. Humility builds things, arrogance cannot. Mason still struggled. Trust heals slower than love. Important difference. One Sunday afternoon, Grace sat in my living room floor wearing tiny socks with yellow ducks on them. Eddie sat nearby, pretending babies preferred him. They do, he insisted. They don't. They absolutely do. You're 70. I'm charming. You're loud. Grace laughed. Traitor. Evelyn would have loved this, Eddie said quietly. Yeah, she would have. Maple tree still needed trimming. Mailbox still leaned left. Ford Ranger still clicked, turning corners. Life stayed imperfect. Good. Real life does. One evening, Olivia stood beside kitchen counter, watching Grace sleep. Dad, yeah, are we okay? Big question, dangerous question, important question. I thought about it carefully. No, I said honestly. Her face fell. Then I continued, but we're getting there. Truth matters, real truth, not movie truth. Trust isn't repaired by apologies. Trust gets repaired by repetition, consistency, time, effort, showing up again and again and again. If you're listening to me right now, I need you to understand something. People make terrible decisions when fear drives. People hide. People justify. People convince themselves they'll fix it later. Later becomes distance. Distance becomes damage. And damage spreads quietly. Love people honestly. Tell truth early. Ask for help before pride gets expensive, because family doesn't break all at once. It breaks one silence at a time. And healing happens the same way. One honest conversation at a time. If this story meant something to you, join our community by hitting that like button and subscribing for more real, raw, and family-centered stories. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever been in a situation like this? We read every single one. And as always, thank you for being a part of this.